As a very young child, I don't know how old I was, and it happened actually 3 times in my young adult, where I would just be walking to school, or once was in a Catholic church. I joined the Catholic Church because of it, actually. And I literally was taken up by this golden radiance. I had no idea what it was. I used the description that I had, which was, it was Jesus or it was God. And, you know, I was deeply, I wasn't religious, but I was deeply devoted as a child. And so I didn't question it. It wasn't frightening. It wasn't even unusual. I just knew that something would happen. This whole body, mind would dissolve. It would be absorbed back into this golden radiance. It was timeless, of course, and so it would last for a while, and then I would like come out of it and dust myself off a little bit and walk on to school. I mean, it was as natural as breath. So in my world, this golden radiance has always been available. I didn't even question it or have questions about it until, you know, really quite later in life. We all are drawn to gold, you know, some in a very greedy and fiercely unconscious way, and others just because of its qualities. You know, it's it can melt, but it doesn't, you know, you can dig it out of the Egyptian tombs and it's still gold and bright and untarnished, and all of the different saints would have golden, you know, halos all around them, and so we're drawn to gold. So my question was, what is the golden radiance really? And what is happening on the planet? And because there's been several people, myself included, that are starting to see a golden sort of being or radiance that's starting to come into the planet. Anyone seeing that? Yeah. I was doing a retreat years ago up on Sugarloaf. My friend lives up there, and we were just doing, I think it was like equinox timing. And I was just doing a guided meditation and then a quiet space. And all of a sudden, I just saw waves and waves and waves of gold coming into the planet. And I just sort of assumed it was because of the, you know, the solstice and whatever. But looking back, I have a sense that in all likelihood, that was I call it the great tsunami that is flooding the earth. Eckhart Tolle calls it the new earth. It's allowing us to experience ourselves as wholeness, as of course we always have been, rather than the dream of separation that we've been exploring for God knows how long. I don't know how long, since we got kicked out of the garden or something like that. But anyway, so my great indulgence was just to be a channel for that to come through, for us to remember in a very cellular and intimate way that this golden radiance in my world, and I'm only giving that view, is the awakened life. It's where the deep silence, the deep ground, the deep silent root, it begins to move, it becomes dynamic because it wants to know itself, it wants to create itself, it wants to dance as itself. And as that light, that dynamic aspect of silence becomes light, there's a bouncing or a radiance. And that radiance is, in my world anyway, gold. And it's the awakened life. That's why they call it the Christed consciousness. And of course, Jesus was one master that realized this consciousness, but there were many more. You know, it's been all through history. So, and all religions, and whether you were in a tradition or not a tradition, and if you were in the female body or the male body, this Christing is available to all beings because it lives within us. Right? It lives within each cell. It lives within our heart. It lives within our whole being. There is a particular light body that we all inhabit, and that the earth it's birthing into the earth herself. And because we're a part of the earth, our bodies and the earth are one thing, that we too are having this resurrection, really, this transformation. So I began to see that my experience had been as a child, and even in meditation, when this golden being, this golden radiance would become conscious, that it didn't include the earth. It didn't include the body. It didn't include form. It was an ascent in a certain kind of way. And it has to, of course that's what's going on, is it has to come back into and awaken into the very blood and bones and cells and organs of our body, and the mountains and the flowers and the plants and the sky and the whole thing of the earth. The earth and this is one thing. And though I've always loved the earth, have seen the light body of the earth, have seen, what she is rather than what we have, in our ignorance, have made of her. She's not ever really been touched. Never. We can do whatever we're doing, and we've about given her everything that is possible to bring her out of balance, and fundamentally she's not been touched. That doesn't mean that we don't go in and we don't try to serve and become whole ourselves so we can serve the wholeness within her. But I think to see her as a poor, broken down woman, is an error. She has to be seen for what she is. And when she's seen for what she is, this brilliant, unfathomable, unimaginable, powerful creatrix, then we also can meet that ourselves, because that's within us as well. And then we can dance together. We can recreate and reimagine and redream together. So hopefully this transmission, and today mostly is about the transmission, can include equally the deepest divine, the golden radiance that is arising to know itself as form, and then the form itself in whatever way that form is expressed: body, tree, mountain, sky, plant, ground, rock. Do you hear? The new earth. The new earth. And the more we can see it and experience it in our own unique way, the more we can live it and be it, the more it can be stabilized, and for not only for ourselves, for our family, for all beings, but for those who, as of yet, can't quite experience and open to what they truly are, what all beings actually truly is.